Here it is. Nissan 9.8 Four Stroke 2005. Made in Japan. It's been in dry storage or a barn for about 5 years now. It's put up running. We haven't opened this case for a while. I have a bad feeling about that hole. Let's see what's in here. Not what I thought. Gonna be getting this thing cleaned up. Hopefully they didn't get up all in the electronics. Hopefully they didn't find a way to get into the air intake. Can't really see. There we go. But gonna be going through the fuel system and the cooling system. It looks like too. I had a problem with my other Mercury 25, and a bunch of carpenter ants decided to go and climb up in the pee hole. So I had fun cleaning up that cooling system the other day. Just things that you got to be aware of that you don't think about. So, pulled out all the big stuff, all the big nests. Now, got all this junk down at the bottom. And how am I going to get all that without tearing it all apart? Sometimes you just get an idea. My idea is to take this stick it in the shop back hose and get the sucker. Actually kind of satisfying. Just have to go ahead and take the pull starter off because this stinking little wasp's getting everything, and just wanted to make sure that there's nothing there. But sure enough, they made a little thing right on top of the starter, under the starter gear, which would have maybe caused a little bit of imbalance in speed. I don't know. But you can also see they got all up in there. They had a great time for many years. This was a nice little hotel. One thing I did is take a bunch of pictures. I always take a ton of pictures. Took pictures of all this stuff, even though I'm recording it. Because you ain't gonna remember where everything went. The coveted 10mm. Okay, gotten to the point where I have sucked out a ton of the stuff, and it's important to try to get everything out of here because, as you can see, the air cleaner doesn't have an air filter, and I haven't run across really an outboard motor that has an air filter. My 25 4-stroke doesn't have an air filter either. So you don't want it just getting sucked up into your intake. But so I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. I'm not going to take this manifold off, but I am going to take off the intake and the carburetor, starting with this screw and then the one that's back behind it, to see what the fuel looks like after 5 years of sitting. See if there's any varnish from the ethanol. Alright, so I've gotten these two bolts. You have to disconnect the fuel line from underneath too. This is what you're ending up with. Got this air cleaner. Yep. thankfully these holes are small enough. It looks like nothing got in here and made a nest. But believe me, there are insects small enough to get in there and do what they want to do. And here's the carb. I halfway thought this motor was going to have a VST and have a more advanced type of fueling, but it's got a carburetor. There's a little fuel pump on the back. I think it's operated by the cam lobes. So now it's time to take this apart and see what's happened over the years. All right, so here we are at the super sterile workbench, and I've taken this back plate off of here. You can see there's some things that could use some attention, some cleaning, and now it's time to pop this off. It's just those 4 bolts, and see what kind of crud has developed over the years. And so, yes, I did put this thing up with ethanol fuel in it. So there's some of the junk. And if you look at the main jet, there's junk and just crud all over the float. So this is going to get a good bath in parts cleaner. And I have this sitting here. So this is what I'm running right now in my 4-stroke, because this brand is supposed to have the highest level of PEA for cleaning out injectors. So this will probably be what I run in this thing after it's done too, even though this is carbureted. Anyway. All right, so after about a 10-minute soak, take parts out, or if you want to, but 10-minute soak. That stuff broke it up pretty quick. Use your wife's favorite toothbrush or whoever's. You can get down in there. We've kind of fashioned this one into a pick as well, so we can get into things. But went ahead and took the float off. See, it kind of cleaned the float off pretty good. Don't see any cracks in the float. I'm going to take that needle out and just check all the passages. Give it a real good spray out with gum out, and hopefully run like brand new. All right. So after cleaning that out, it's much better. It's not perfect yet, but in my jet, let's see if we can see. Yep, see through there. That's good. And so this was here. And then you have this screw, which goes on top of here, but underneath that, down in there, is this. So took it out, sprayed it out. We can see daylight through it. So I think it's time to put everything back together and move on.
This is nice.
Okay, so I already started it. Naturally, it fired right up because everything's clean now, but it would not pee at all. And the reason is, so what I did is, first thing is I took off the thermostat, which is right here. That's the housing. Took the thermostat out and I put it in some boiling water, cleaned it out with some vinegar. It's working fine. And then I disconnected the hose that goes to the pee hole. So it comes back and it attaches right down there. Started the motor up and water started flowing out of there. So sure enough, I go and I take the water hose and push up against here and backflow it, and a bunch of dirt and crap from wasps flies out. So I'm going to put this back together and give it a start. All right, got the muff hooked up. Should have plenty of power with that up from the red top. Let's see what she does. Being real good. Running pretty nice. So all in all, I think that's a win after not running for couple of years, it became like a race horse.